Thanks a lot for the attendance. We see that people are still continuing to join, and thanks a lot for that. Some of you might know already the concept of pure storage in as a leader of the all flash market, and the concept behind the technology. But some of you might never heard about it, and some of you just ask what can be added to what we have already. So today we wanted to again show you why we are different, why we are putting a lot of efforts into an industry which a lot of few years ago was commoditized completely, and how actually you can gain by using a simple change in your data center. So we start already. Again, this is a slide that some of you might have seen it, but this is actually the slide that differentiates Pure from every single other vendor in the industry. So first of all, every product was built for NVMe, for Flash. And this changes the way the operating system is working. The operating system is using the Flash because it uses it intelligent. It doesn't have to adapt because it was written for Flash, and it gets advantages of all the Flash technologies. And actually, this is the first presentation because it's how you can use Flash with a price which is very close to the rotational drives. The second thing, and this is valid for all the platforms, it's a very simple thing. We don't want the storage administrator to be a storage administrator anymore. We want the admins to work with vCenter, to work with Hyper-V, to work with OpenShift, to work with containers, and do not look at the storage, because the ecosystem that we integrate is creating a fantastic simplicity in putting the array 3U, 6U, and forget about it, because this is how it works. And the evergreen part, which will be covered also by my colleague Alex, is showing you that once you invest in Pure, there is no more projects about data migration. There is no more gaps on the technology, because you always have the latest technology available anytime as soon as we launch it. And it is an investment protection, not only between the appliances or between the storage, between the generations, but also inside the ecosystem. Today, you can work with Oracle, with SQL, but tomorrow, or even in parallel, you develop yourself with containers, with the modern applications, with MongoDB, with Elastic, with Splunk, all this being already integrated in it. This is a general slide. I will not stop on it, just to have it yourself to understand the portfolio that we are proposing, and that everything is interconnected with everything, because everything works together with everything. And this is the beauty of a simple part. Now, some of you already heard or are already using FlashArray. And FlashArray, as soon as it was implemented, it has to be innovative in using all Flash. We added block, file, and vvols on all the platforms. Of course, it's 100% NVMe, but this is not NVMe ready. It's 100% NVMe from end to end, from front to the end, however you want to call it. It uses also not only NVMe technology, but it can, from a protocol perspective, it can go NVMe over fiber and NVMe over fiber channel. And as I said, if you look on the left side, we want you to actually not having not spending hours, days, even months in creating scripts to integrate your environments with our technology, but actually we are providing this by standard, direct APIs, direct scripts. This is something that it is done directly from us without anything in addition. So today we are talking about the how Flash actually can be affordable from your perspective, how the capacity that you are buying can have the terabyte that you are storing on the array can be compared with 10K rotational drives or 15K rotational drives or with hybrid arrays. And this is just because we are using two types of technologies. On the upper side, this is the standard flash array, block flash array X using TLC. But 1 year ago, actually 1.5 years ago, we introduced what we call the flash array C, which is, we call it capacity optimized. And why is that? It's because it is using QLC technology in the back. QLC technology, for the people who doesn't know, is one of the latest technologies in Flash, and we are among the probably the 2 or maybe 3 vendors able to use it, but we are the only ones using it on a scale, which means on a dedicated appliance. And this is why I was insisting on the first slide that we created the operating system for Flash. And this is the reason why we can take advantage of this technology QLC, because we are not consuming the Flash like other vendors are doing. If you look at the main of our main competitors in the region, if you look at NetApp, if you look at Dell, if you look at HP, if you look at IBM, no one talks about QLC. No one talks about putting petabytes of data on a single flash array. And why is that? Is again because their operating system cannot cope with the QLC specific technology. The difference between, coming back a little bit, the difference between the arrays and why I put it on the same slide is, first of all, every single array has the same operating system, no differences, same features, same advantages, same GUI, same everything. There is no adaptation. It's just the same operating system and same features. The differences, once again, are coming from the technology which is behind, which actually provides to the C level, to the C model arrays, a higher latency. So if you are used, or if we always go with a guaranteed sub-millisecond on the X, with the C models, we go on a latency between 2 and 4 milliseconds. Now, I had a lot of discussions with some customers, and Tara knows already. We have a future customer in Slovenia, and we're discussing about the flash, the flash array X and flash array C, and they have a different vendor, and they were asking to have everything below 10 milliseconds. So that was the requirements from a performance perspective, which means C is probably most convenient for a lot of companies. But not only that, it consolidates a lot of space. It consolidates a lot of data. It can create a lot of use cases. So if you look at it, the minimum capacity, and we are using NVMe modules with 24 terabytes capacity each module. We can start with a minimum of 247 terabytes raw capacity, which actually means half of an array in 3U. So if you know already what X looks like, it's exactly the C is just bigger in capacity. And I had a lot of discussions with, and I have a lot of discussions with customers. Oh, Flash is not for us, or we don't have, it's too much capacity, we don't have it like this. But the customer that we discussed in Slovenia is actually, when we started to put together, okay, what can you do with this one? Okay, you can consolidate VMs, you can consolidate VDIs, you can consolidate backups, you can actually run analytics on it because the Flash allows you to do it. So for people who are passionate about the architecture, the hardware architecture, it's the same thing. Same thing on X. It's a 3U modules, dual controller, everything, almost nothing complex compared to the X. Same thing. Stateless architecture, once again, can replace controllers without having any impact on the performance or any impact on the services running on the array. As for any flash array, or let's say pure storage concept, we provide to all the customers all the features today and tomorrow features at no cost, at no license. As I said, a flash array C is a flash array X with a different technology behind and with a different capacity and with a different price point per effective terabyte. So everything that you like, inline compression, inline deduplication, inline encryption, is available on flash array C by default. You cannot stop it. The parity, the protection, internal protection with the RAID is again same thing, dual protection against dual failure dynamic, which means you remove a module, it will go again, it will recalculate the parities to have again to protect you against the dual failure once again. So all these functionalities you have. Now the use cases are different because some of you, as I said, some customers don't require sub-millisecond. So actually they could go for all their applications with flash array C. But what we see in a lot of customers is consolidating VMware environments. VMware environments, which right now stays on 2-3 racks of rotational drives, consolidated in 3U for test and dev, for patch management, for reporting, for DR, for running the VMware environment. And as you can see on the purple line, a lot of functionalities of VMware. You can put it there. If you go to the data protection, you have amazing integrations with Vim, with Veritas, with Commvault. And today we have a running POC and a customer also running Vim, doing the backups on the array with ratios between 4:1 to 12:1. The advantage is that the restore time is 10x better than any other disk solution. I'm not talking even about tapes. The data from the backup can be used to be active data to run analytics on it. And who is running Vim today, you can also use the feature which is rarely used in Vim, which is called instant restore, because you can do it on flash. You can just boot up a VM directly from the backup without restoring it to the initial position, and you check it from the backup there. So all these things creates a huge advantage. And more than that, you can add also the file services. Now with the file services, we are still growing, we are still maturing, because we just introduced file services a few months ago, and we have the basics of providing the file services. But we can provide the VDI profiles, we can provide the home directories. So from this perspective, this is what we are proposing to you. We are proposing you an array with all the features of the old flash, with all the advantages of the old flash, full replication, full snapshotting, everything included, at a very comparable price on the hybrid arrays. Thanks a lot. Alex, I think it's your turn now.
Yep. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Horia. Thank you for this introduction. My name is Alexander Rubanik. I'm in charge for our partners and distributors in the Southeastern Europe region. Thank you very much for joining. We are very happy with the impressive attendance, and thanks to our Veracomp exclusive networks colleagues who organized this whole meeting and invited us. I will tell you briefly before you will see a more technical presentation and live demo from my colleague Maciej Kot. I will tell you briefly about our evergreen concept, but to be able to show it properly, I need to build some context around this. So Pure was founded in 2009 as a company questioning the status quo in the data market. So back then we realized that most of the storage companies are in a dead end because the future will be completely different. This is why we developed completely new architecture, purpose-built for Flash, as Jorge already said. As you can see, the first product was released in 2012. So 3 years we were operating without having a product on the market, actually. But in 2014, we have introduced Evergreen storage program. And this is really important date for my presentation. Because it's already 7 years we are helping our customers to benefit from this technology, also with a very unique and very special, I would say, maybe consumption approach. I told you that in 2012 we introduced our first product, and immediately in 2013 we were recognized by Gartner as a leader. I believe it's not happening often or even ever that such a young company and such a young technology is immediately recognized as a leader by Gartner. And it stays like this for 7 consecutive years. So we are still all the time in the leaders quadrant. And as you can see, for the latest quadrant, we are ahead of any competition. But even more important for us is the concept you saw on the first slide, customer first. Whatever we do, regardless if it's a technology or it's any kind of concept, feature, program, the core principle is to have satisfied customers. And we are really happy that we managed to do this, because satisfaction ratio from using Pure Storage products is uncomparable to any other vendor. As you can see, this is NPS score, and I encourage you to seek for yourself. You just put in the browser NPS and the name of a company, and all the industries are measured in the similar way. So you can see exactly how customers are responding for certain products. And we are still for many years in the top 1% of B2B companies, regardless the industry, with the most satisfied customers. The reason for that, Jorge already put some context to the technology part. So we developed our own technology. So we built a software, and then we built our hardware to fully utilize this software features. It gives us a great advantage in the technology-wise. So this innovation comes from our concept, both software and hardware-wise. But to make it even more complete, we have developed a program I will try to explain to you in the next few slides, which is called Evergreen. And we call it subscription or subscription to innovation or all-inclusive storage. What it means, it's a set of features, it's a set of capabilities for our customers, which are blended into our offer. This is not a marketing program, this is not a promo, this is something which, as I told you, we've introduced in 2014, and it's still working. Our customers are benefiting from it for the 7 years. I recently checked, we have exchanged with this program over 3,200 controllers in the arrays based on the subscription, which means probably almost 2,000, you can imagine it's almost 2,000 migrations which were avoided by our customers thanks to the Evergreen program. How is it possible? It's possible because it's, as I said, it's blended in our concept. So from the very beginning, we have designed this architecture to be capable of first of all, full interoperability, which means that you can upgrade the smallest machine to the highest with data in place without even stopping the production or affecting the performance. Everything is modular, everything is compatible backwards and forwards, which means that you can grow capacity-wise, performance-wise, and feature-wise, not only with the software releases, but also with the hardware releases. That's the I would say the fundamental of this evergreen concept. And the set of programs I told you about, and in the bottom of the screen you have a link, and I encourage you to use it, to check it, because all these programs are described in a public way on a public website, accessible for everyone. And what's really important for me, and what I really appreciate at Pure Storage, everything is written in a very simple language. This is not a program of 30 pages of some exceptions, some special features or whatever. This is very simple. This is very straightforward, and this allows our customers to really understand what they are getting and benefit from it. So starting early at the sales cycle, on acquisition phase, when you are considering if you want to invest in Pure Storage, you have a set of programs to help you make a right decision. Love Your Storage program allows every customer who did not test our array, so there was no proof of concept, there was no previous implementations. So you are a customer who doesn't know the Pure Storage yet, but you are interested in this technology. You can buy it and you can return it without even giving a reason in 30 days. You just say, okay, I don't like it. It's not what you've promised. Take it away. You just pack it, you just send it back, and you won't be charged a single dollar for it. We will accept it. And I will tell you the practical example from last week, because it happened actually last week. We had a customer over a month ago buying Pure Storage with a restriction that they are struggling with the budget. So together with a partner, we decided, okay, we will deliver this array with Love Your Storage warranty, and you have 30 days to return it. But the problem was that there was some misunderstanding between us and the partner, and the partner communicated to the customer they have 2 months to return it instead of 1 month. And just a few days ago, customer said, guys, we are sorry, we love your technology, it's amazing, but we cannot buy it at the moment. We need to return it. And they came back to us, and our guy said, but it's over 30 days. It's actually almost 2 months. And customer said, but this is what partner told us. And what we did, it took 1 day to make a decision. Okay, we will accept it, even though it's not in line with the program, but it's absolutely in line with the customer first approach. So even though we didn't have to honor it, we accepted the return. Array software included, Horia already mentioned it. All the features are included out of the box. There is no licensing. There is nothing hidden. Everything we develop, our customers can benefit from. Not only at the moment, but also in the future, because as long as you are you have your platform under subscription, evergreen subscription, every new feature which will be developed and introduced by us will be automatically available for you at the cost of subscription without any other cost. And these features are really something. You will see it in the next slide. Right size guarantee, I have a separate slide for it because it's really important for us since we have the best data efficiency on the market. We compress, deduplicate best in the industry. We achieve about 5-to-1 effective data reduction on average from measured arrays. This is not a marketing number. This is actually measured number from the arrays connected to our Pure One service. And we ask our customers, tell us what you want to do with this array. Don't be concerned about the capacity you are used to. Just tell us which workloads and what capacities do you need and how much it will grow. We will size the array for you, and we will give you one-pager simple warranty that we will achieve certain data reduction. And if we won't meet it, we will deliver data packs on our cost. So this is really something. Coming back to this slide, when you already are using Pure Storage, you also have a set of set of benefits. Flat and fair support. We never increase the support price. Initial price for the support is our obligation that you will never pay more for the support in the future. You can buy support for 1 year, you can buy support for 7 years, you will pay exactly the same amount per year and actually per month, because this is how we quote the support. So you can plan your budget in a completely different way, because you can predict the cost of your storage for effectively for 5 years, 10 years. It's impossible with any other vendor. Evergreen maintenance, as I said, this infrastructure is built with a full compatibility and interoperability. It means that we are guaranteeing the customer that they will be able to expand also the hardware, not only software, in time, as long as they will support it. So if we deliver new data modules, if we deliver new controllers, this is on us to make sure that everything will work with the previously delivered arrays. White glove support, we don't use typical first line of support in Pure. If customer needs to address something with our support, which is very unusual because most of the cases are created proactively and automatically by our Pure One support engine. But if you need to reach our support, you will be automatically connected to the engineer. He will pick up your case immediately without having to go through the lines and to actually start talking with someone who can help you. And upgrade, free every 3, upgrade flex and capacity consolidation. Very important part of our Evergreen offering. Only available in Evergreen Gold subscription, and I will describe it in details on the next slides. I mentioned Pure One support. This is not only support page. This is not only monitoring of the arrays. This is much more. We also introduced this very early with our products. What we are doing with Pure One, we are gathering all the metadata from production working arrays. We are analyzing this metadata. We are understanding and learning how these arrays behave under different workloads in different conditions. And we constantly develop, automate, improve, and deliver this improvement to the customers. So we learn what our customers are doing with our arrays, and we use this knowledge to help the other customers to achieve better results. And Pure One, as all of our features, is also standard. So you don't pay anything extra for it. Every array can be connected to Pure One. Every array can be covered by proactive support without any additional cost. And here you can see we have 2 subscriptions, as I mentioned, Gold and Silver. And the only difference between these subscriptions is 3 programs of upgrading the arrays. Everything else is exactly the same. Again, very simple, very straightforward, and very honest. So 15 minutes for severity 1 response SLA, 2 SLAs for break fix, 4 hours or next business day, whatever you choose, whatever you need. On the right, you have a comparison to industry standard support. So you can see we are delivering really all-inclusive storage because everything is included in the initial price. And these 3 programs I mentioned, free every 3. If you decide on a Gold subscription, every 3 years, when you will decide to extend it, you will be delivered new controllers at the cost of the subscription. So we will upgrade your hardware, we will upgrade your performance based on a subscription without you paying any extra money. So when I told you about this prediction of the cost, you can do this much more effectively because not only you can keep your array working for many years, but you can actually upgrade it hardware-wise at the predictable cost. And the same with Upgrade Flex. If you reach the limit of capacity with a certain family and you need to upgrade to the higher model, you will only pay the difference in the price as long as you are under Gold subscription. And the same with capacity consolidation. In time, of course, we develop and release denser data modules, which provides more capacity. And if you want to maintain the small footprint we provide, and you want to maintain your efficiency, you can exchange your data modules at the difference of the price. So you can grow your data platform as long as you need, with a very predictable and fair cost. And this is the example. As I told you, first array in 2012 was a relatively simple block iSCSI FA300. In 2014, we introduced Evergreen concept. In 2015, we introduced FlashArray-M, and since then, everything is you can update it based on the subscription. So you can imagine a customer who bought an array in 2015, and he uses this until today. And you don't have to imagine this, because this is reality. We have hundreds or even thousands of such customers, and you can see new features delivered with the next Purity version, our OS version. And these features are introduced without any additional cost. You just receive it based on the subscription you have. Active cluster, vVols support, active DR, file support for flash arrays. So you bought block array, but in time, all of a sudden you have a capability of unified storage without paying any extra money. I think this is really amazing. And the same goes with our other products. We didn't speak about FlashBlade because it requires probably a completely different meeting. This is our file and object storage. Again, very innovative, probably uncomparable to anything on the market, but the concept stays the same. The same architecture, the same platform, and the same evergreen program. So new features delivered at the cost of subscription, also for FlashBlade customers. And this is just the example of new features which were delivered with the last Purity version. And all of our customers with active subscription, they just received it, updating the software. This is how simple it is. I know for some of you, it can sound too good to be true. And actually, this is how it sounded to me when I heard about Pure for the first time. So we really encourage you to test it. Please reach back to our colleagues from Veracomp or reach back directly to us. Ask for test drive. This is the simplest way of testing Pure Storage. You can do remote demo. You can see the interface. You can see how it's provisioned, or talk with us about proof of concept, so we can deliver the array sized for your needs to your data center and let you test it until you buy it, and you will not pay for this. We just prepare a proof of concept project with you. We need to know what are your expectations and what criteria of success, and we'll deliver completely new array sized for your needs. And if you are satisfied with it, you can just leave it in your data center. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you liked it, and I'm happy to give the stage to Maciej. Thank you.
I hope you can see my screen. I have chosen the fancy name, Achieving Business and Operational Agility with Pure Agile Data Services. So this is delivered by the FlashArray and the Purity. So I will cope mostly with the FlashArray product. Now, why I have chosen it? Because thanks to the design and thanks to the services that we provide, we can easily say the storage is very agile, and it will allow you to be very, very flexible with your business. So the two topics, as I mentioned. First one is the FlashArray availability and performance. So how do we assure our customers that our data is available, that the data is available to you constantly? Now, the Purity for the FlashArray will deliver 6 nines of availability. This is a proven availability, and it's inclusive of maintenance, failures, and generational upgrades. So if you are doing an upgrade from the previous array to the next array, it's all included. it's not an SLA, it's not a guarantee that we will tell you, okay, we have not met, you had a downtime of 1 minute, so we will give you a, I don't know, some price reduction on the next support. No, it's our guarantee, and it's tested on all our arrays. And I will have on the further slides how many devices we are currently monitoring in our Pure One system. So starting from the left, how do we assure this data availability? Everything is non-disruptive. So of course, active-active design, duplicated components, hot swappable components, and the stateless controller architecture. I will tell you a little bit more 2 slides further. From the data protection, local data protection, we are using a software rate. The software rate, but it's protecting the data like it would be RAID 6. Why do we do it? Actually, it was intentional decision because Pure is actually, it's not a hardware company, it's a software. You already heard it, but this is our key. We are working on the software to make it work better. We are working on our software to actually to limit the writes, to limit the any bottlenecks, and to make sure that the performance will be met. So the last bit on the slide, workload consistency. In Pure, we're really taking care of the consistency. We're not trying to hit 1 million IOPS or 2 million IOPS with the hero numbers. No, it's not Pure style. What we want to make sure, and what we are making sure in our hardware and software, is that all the workloads that you have will always have predictable performance. So the system will intelligently check what's happening on the array. So the 2 features that I have as an example is always on QoS and QoS limits, or the QoS policy. So the always on QoS, very simple. You don't set anything. As you heard from Horia, it has to be simple. So it will make sure that all the workloads will receive fair amount of resources. And if the array will find some resource that is not behaving well, it will reduce his bandwidth. So it will automatically reduce. You don't have to do anything, nothing to configure. That's it, out of the box. Now, if you want to set the limits, of course, the administrator have this ability to set the limits. And again, this is just to make sure that the performance is met for all the resources. So going back a little bit to technical details. You've seen the slide, I hope you remember, from Horia's presentation about FlashArray//C. And I hope you remember, it looked exactly the same. He said that the modular design is the same for C and X. And this is actually a proof, because this is an X, but it looks exactly the same. But what is important on this slide, I'm not going to mention all those details, you know, data modules, NVRAMs, controllers, etc., because it's not that important. Important is that the look of it is actually the same for all the models. So all of our models, if you're starting from X10, then more powerful X20, X50, X70, X90, they all fit into the same chassis. The difference is within the controller, and the controller is here. So you can imagine how easy it is to actually to change the model or the generation. So you can just replace the controller, put the other one, and replace the secondary one. That's it, very easy. I promise you a little bit more details about the stateless architecture. So our modular and upgradable design, again, is based on 2 main factors. We have this, sorry, I forgot the word, but we have decided that the NVRAMs modules will be not dependent on the controller, so they are separate. One important difference is also that we are not using battery backed up cache. So the write cache, the NVRAM, is actually backed up by supercapacitors. We are sure that everything that will be written to the NVRAM, even if you lose power, the data will stay there. We will be able to store it on the flash. So you will not lose any data. Now, the controller architecture, and this is really important, how do we make sure that the performance is consistent across everything? So we are working active on the front end, but the controllers are, the one controller is working on the back end. Now, what does it give you? And it's an important differentiator. You might say, well, it's pretty much an active passive. Well, it's not. It's by design like this. Imagine the situation. What will happen if you need to upgrade your controller? Well, if you need to upgrade the firmware or there is a failure, what will happen? Well, in usual concept, you're losing 50% of performance. And I had it in my history. I've seen it in my history that I was not able to perform certain maintenance actions simply because I was exceeding the number of performance, the CPU performance on the controllers. Here, we don't have this case. So it works for the upgrades of the software. It works for the upgrades of the controller, and it works for also any failures. Now, the stateless controllers, it's an interesting feature because we do not have a configuration on the controllers. Configuration is on the drive. So imagine the replacement. You do not have to do anything. Just remove, plug the new one, and that's it. That's pretty much it. Now, a little bit more about the protection. So the whole protection landscape. We quickly discussed RAID. Now, how further can you go? Of course, snapshots, and everyone have that. So you can protect your local array with the snapshots. Our snapshots are cross consistent. They are even certified with the Oracle, so you can use them. There is absolutely no limit on the snapshots. Well, that's an exaggeration, but you can have really high number of snapshots. They do not affect performance at all, and they do not take any data unless the original data is changed. So you can store a lot of them. There is no dependency from snapshot 1, 2, 5, or whatever. So you can create as many as you want, and you can restore it from any point in time. So that's the local protection on a single array. Now, if you want to have really high availability, you have the option to connect a secondary array and use our active cluster functionality. This is a synchronous replication delivered just by adding an extra array. No license, no special requirements, just a network that you need to provide, the switch network, and 11 milliseconds round trip time. That's it. No distance limitation, nothing to worry about. And again, you're adding the array, you're setting it up. If you want to watch the demo of it, there is an 18-minute video. How do you configure synchronous replication? It cannot be easier. Now, if this is still not enough, of course, we have the option to protect with the third side. So having this active cluster, so the synchronous replication, you can protect further with the third side with asynchronous replication, and was added recently, a near sync replication. And here there is no distance limitation and the round trip time limitation. So the latency limitation is quite big, which is about 300 milliseconds. 300 milliseconds, I believe it's a whole world. You don't have to worry about. Of course, this is just a picture. If you decide to go with the asynchronous replication, we can have a many-to-many replication. Now, what else is available? From the local snapshot, every customer can choose a portable snapshot. So we can create a local snapshot on a single array and replicate it to our secondary product, which is called FlashBlade. We can copy this snapshot to an NFS, to any NFS, and it can be a third-party array, or it can be a Linux share. It doesn't really matter. And we can also move those snapshots to the cloud, to the public cloud. With the Cloud Snap technology, you can copy such snapshots to Amazon, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. What's interesting about Amazon is that you can choose two different stores. There is an S3, which is fairly cheap, and you can also choose S3 infrequent access. So if you are sure that you will not touch your data for at least 30 days, you can choose even cheaper storage in a public cloud. So that's a full protection landscape from Pure. And please remember, everything is included. So there is no license to any of those features. We will not ask you to pay an extra money for any of this. So that was for the protection. And now just a little bit about the Pure One support and the Pure One monitoring. So we call it AI-driven management and predictive support. And just a few slides on this, and I'm moving to a demo. So the Pure One Meta. Pure One Meta is our global sensor network. So we are gathering the data from currently more than 19,000 devices. The 19,000 is a number from actually end of last year, so it's much bigger now. At present, we have more than 15 petabytes of telemetry data, and about 30 terabytes of data every day is being gathered. So for this amount of data, we are using artificial intelligence to perform real-time scanning and to make sure that we are analyzing data in real time. What's coming further with the predictive support, with all of this data, if we find any issue with a certain device, let's say with a certain driver, we're gonna fingerprint it as a known issue. Now, once we fingerprint it, we're gonna search the whole database of the devices, and if we find a match, we're gonna raise the ticket directly to a customer, and we will notify, hey, dear customer, there might be an issue with your environment. Please do certain actions. And we've seen many cases of such kind when we were able to actually to react before something bad has happened. And the last thing I wanted to mention is touching a little bit about the performance, but the VM analytics. VM analytics, which is available in Pure One, and it's available for every customer. It's available free of charge. So what you need to have is just to have a connectivity to the internet. And this will quickly allow you to scan your VMware environment and show what can you see on the full path from the virtual machine disk up to an array level. And I will show you this on a demo. So that's it from the presentation. And let me move to a demo. So I finished on the VM analytics slide, and I'm going to start with it. So this is how it looks live. And this is a great tool to actually find the bottlenecks in your environment. So let me give you an example. This is one of the collectors that we are gathering the data. And here you can see the array. You can see the volume on the array, data store, host, VM, and the virtual disk. And you can easily find, okay, so there is something wrong here, right? We have a latency here of less than a millisecond, and we have a similar latency on the volume. But something is wrong on the data store, and something is wrong at the VM level. So imagine the situation that the database administrator is coming to you and asking, hey, my virtual machine is very, very slow. I'm pretty sure it's your storage. So what do? You're just logging into the Pure One, you're checking the VM analytics, and you're looking for the virtual machine where you can search it here, you can search the disk, you can search the virtual machine, and you can see, right, I do not have a problem even on the host, I do not have a problem on the array, there must be something on the virtual machine configuration. So it's very easy to find the bottlenecks. I just show you the latency for the sake of time. If you're interested, I can give you a better overview of this functionality if you decide to contact me. But just to give you a little bit more, apart from the latency, we can monitor IOPS and we can monitor the bandwidth. For the host and the virtual machine, we can also choose the load. So we can monitor the CPU utilization, or we can monitor the memory utilization. So again, it gives you more information about your environment. The second thing I wanted to show you when it comes to the Pure One is a section of planning, where I like to compare it to kind of a what if scenarios that was delivered by the VMware Operations Center. But as you remember, VMware Operations Center is not a free tool. You have to pay the license. And in Pure, again, it's free. It's available for all customers with the active subscription. So this simple view will allow you to pretty much monitor your environment, how it will behave, how it behaves in the past, and how it will behave in the future. So let me give you an example of the first array that I've seen. It will show me the projected capacity. What will be the projected capacity? So when it will be 100% full. So you can see it probably will be full in 3 months, and it's going to do based on analysis that we are doing on the data, as you can see here. So how is it helpful? Well, I was working previously in a big company where all the changes has to be raised. And we had a change freeze between the beginning of December and the beginning of January. So there was no production changes allowed at all unless it's a critical one. So if you find out that your array will be full, and if it's, let's say, September, you can react in time. So you can react in time and you can do it before actually you hit the limit, and you don't have to do any production changes. So that's one functionality. With this data, you can also simulate hardware addition. So if I will say, I will go to this, I will see what's the configuration of the drives. I can find out what can I do more with my environment. So I can add more capacity, and the simulation will show me how much time will I gain. As you can see, the line went down from here to here. So that's one functionality. We can simulate an extra workload of such an array. Let's use the example. If you would like to project the new capacity, let's say you have a VDI resource that's going to grow. It's going to grow by 50%, and you don't know if your array will hold it, will manage it, for the taking into consideration capacity and performance. You can do it in this simple tab. And as I said, it's like a what if analysis. So you can select any volume, you can scale it, you can clone it, or you can migrate it. Now, one last thing I wanted to quickly show you is that you can also simulate the new workload. So let's say if you have an array with just a SQL, for example, and you want to place, or you are getting the requirement from the business, hey, I need, let's say, some Oracle, or I need some SAP HANA. You can analyze in this tool very, very simply how it will affect your array. So you don't have to worry what's the IO size, and you don't have to worry how it will behave. So you just choose this simple example. We are choosing the SAP. It will tell you what's the data reduction you can expect from it. We will tell you what's the average expected IO size, and the IO size is very important considering the performance of the array. And you can simply create it here, and it will give you a scenario. Okay, what will happen if I add certain amount of SAP into my environment? So very easy tool available for all customers. And we have only 2 minutes left for this webinar. And I would like to thank you, and I would like to invite you for further demonstrations or demos. One last thing I wanted to mention, Alex told you that we have a possibility to perform the POC at the customer site with the new array. This has been done very widely in our region, but in the case that you cannot deliver a POC to the customer physically because he doesn't have a space, or you cannot visit the customer, we also have a functionality of remote POC. So we call it Customer Solution Center. So if we request such a thing, customer can say, hey, I want to have an X20 array with, let's say, 2 servers with an Intel processor, and I want to store some Oracle. And we will create such an environment in our remote data center, customer connected, and customer can test it in real life. So thank you so much.